So if you guys have been paying attention to what I've been saying on the channel for some time now, you will know that I think at some point, whether it's this year or the year after, Google are going to get rid of manual CPC. They want to push people towards smart bidding and making sure automation takes over from manual control. They've done a ton of things already to signal that that's the long-term strategy they want. My previous video talked about this, previous other videos have talked about this in terms of match types, in terms of hiding the search terms. All of these things are leading to a pure automation approach. And now I think the time is coming very near where Google will scrap full manual CPC. Now, why do I think that? Well, the reason I think that is because of an announcement, believe it or not, by Google's little brother Bing. Now, Bing have announced for Bing ads going forward from March of this year, they are going to scrap full manual CPC. They will revert all campaigns on manual CPC to ECPC, or enhanced CPC. And for those of you who don't know, ECPC is essentially like a bridge between smart bidding and fully automating your campaigns and controlling your bids to some degree. So you set your bids at keyword level like you normally would, but Bing at their discretion will increase and decrease bids based on whether or not conversion is more likely or less likely, and Google do this as well. In fact, Google obviously pioneered this, and Bing have now decided that now is the time to scrap full manual CPC and move over to ECPC. This is a huge step because as you know, with PPC, the whole point of PPC was tell us what you're willing to pay for a click and you will pay no more than the value you tell us. So that was the original way PPC was supposed to work. Over time, it's evolved and automation has come in and works a lot better. Google have been running automated bidding for a number of years now, and only now they feel they're at the point where they can start pushing some of these decisions. But Bing have decided that now is the time to end manual CPC. And it's very rare that Bing do something before Google, but I actually think that Google, funnily enough, even though they never normally follow Bing, it's always the other way around, I actually think Google are going to follow Bing. They're going to follow Bing on this point, and don't be surprised if this year you can only use ECPC as opposed to full manual CPC. So I think the next thing we need to do is really get to understand what Microsoft are doing here. So let's take a quick look at their announcement specifically, because there are some interesting insights hidden within their announcement. So as you can see, this is the announcement from Bing on their blog. They've said that you need to use enhanced CPC to level up your bidding practice, so they're really pushing the fact that automation is important. Generally, the announcement is saying that the ROI gains they're seeing as a result of using automated strategies, including ECPC, dictates to them that anyone using manual CPC will get worse results. So they're confident in thinking that making this change is going to be positive to the vast majority of advertisers based on data. Now, do I have the right to deny them that? Well, potentially not. I think potentially they are correct with the data they're looking at, but there are a few caveats I'm going to cover once we go through this announcement. So things to know here, these bullet points are quite important. So advertisers using ECPC achieve a 5 to 10% more conversions while maintaining their cost per acquisition. Again, this is aggregate data from Bing, so this is something that they've looked at within their data. I'd imagine on Google it's pretty similar. So within ECPC, your average cost per click won't exceed the maximum bid you set. So on average, they say that's not the case. So what will happen is on average, your CPC should remain the same. Sometimes the bids will be lower, sometimes they'll be higher. They say this, but if you look at Google's data, when you look at an ECPC campaign, sometimes you end up paying a lot more than you would on average. So Bing saying that you will never pay more than average is yet to be seen. I think we need to get more data on this and understand whether or not that this is the case, because on Google, we know that this is often not the case on a day-to-day basis. So the other interesting point is the last of these points, which is that ECPC benefits search partner performance by optimizing for high quality clicks. They don't really say what high quality clicks are. I suppose they mean more likely to convert compared to less likely to convert, because I suppose every click is valuable to somebody as long as the person's ready to buy. So I think that's what they mean by that, is specifically around that conversion. So there are a few things in there around ECPC that Bing have disclosed, which is something that Google disclosed as well in terms of why they want you to use ECPC. So as I said, the migration timeline is that starting in March of this year, they're going to migrate all the way through until April, and all campaigns will be moved over automatically. So it makes sense at this point, if you're running campaigns on Bing using full manual CPC, to migrate it yourself, or if you have enough data in terms of conversions, move over to a smart bidding strategy. Now this diagram down here is pretty interesting. I've made a video previously on bidding strategies and how to choose the right bidding strategy for you. This flowchart is pretty handy at explaining that as well. If you have no conversion data, you've got to go with a strategy that doesn't focus on conversions, so maximize clicks, ECPC, or target impression share. And if you have conversion data and you have a revenue goal, then target return on advertising spend. If you have conversion goals, then you can do a target CPA or maximize conversion strategy. So this flowchart is actually quite useful, and it does give you an indication as to the direction of travel you should take when you're setting up a campaign. You'll notice that enhanced CPC covers both, because of course it can be used for traffic and it can also be used for conversion. So this announcement is very, very significant. So what should you do in the short term if you know this announcement's coming in terms of Bing and you have to migrate your campaigns over? Well, of course, the thing you need to do is get started straight away. I know a lot of you have migrated campaigns from your Google account over to Bing to increase your volumes. Even though Bing is a lot less volume than Google, there is still a significant amount of volume there. So migrating your campaigns over is a good thing to do. If you haven't done it already and you've got successful campaigns on Google, migrate them over to Bing, because you'll be quite surprised with how good the conversion rate could be. Now, once you've migrated your campaigns, if you're running on manual CPC only, then you need to migrate over to ECPC, and even more than that, you need to start thinking about automated bidding. Now, if you've watched my videos over time, you know that sometimes automated bidding can be amazing, sometimes it can be terrible. It all depends on the type of campaign, the size, the niche, the number of conversions you're getting on a consistent basis, the performance of your website. There are a lot of factors that go into whether or not a smart bidding strategy will work, but I think this squeeze is starting to happen. I think the sooner you can test a smart bidding strategy, the better, because eventually you're going to have no choice and no room to test and see whether or not it will work for you, and work with an account manager if you're an independent business owner and you want to try and get some better results. And if you're a consultant, testing these different theories and strategies across different campaigns and advertisers you work with. So getting that data and understanding what's working and what's not working and seeing if you can get it to work is key now, because you can always revert. You can always say, okay, let's test it. If it doesn't work, we'll go back and then recalculate and reconfigure, maybe do some work on the website. There are a lot of things and a lot of options you have to improve campaigns outside of the platform itself. Give yourself that time, because time's running out. It's going to be a case of switching a switch over, and Bing will literally just say, and Google will just say, that it's time to go fully automated. Now, one thing I will say as well, kind of round this off, is that announcements like this for Bing and what I think is coming for Google give me one indication. I think Google are going to abandon micro advertisers. Now, when I say micro advertisers, I don't mean just small businesses, because a lot of small businesses spend a good amount of money with Google. Small and medium-sized enterprises are a good thing for Google. But with that said, any business who's not generating a significant enough number of conversions for smart bidding to work, Google are basically going to say, sorry, can't help you. And I think they're going to eventually switch over to smart bidding, and that's going to really bias towards bigger advertisers, people with more money, people with a high volume of conversions going through their website, people who can afford to optimize their website better. That is who is going to benefit from smart bidding, because that is who it's targeted at, people with a high volume of conversion. So for the small micro advertisers spending a handful of dollars a day, maybe $30 a day or something along those lines, it's probably not going to be a good thing for you in the long term. I think Google and Bing are going to focus on a bigger portion of the market, the higher spenders, and I think there's going to be a lot of disappointed advertisers who might get left behind. But with that said, if you start off small, you can always expand your spend as your campaigns improve. So if you're a small advertiser and you're not working with a consultant who can increase your leads and increase your business, then there's going to be a problem. You need to be able to scale your campaigns to the point where smart bidding will work for you, because in the long term, I think that's going to be your only option on this platform. Of course, Facebook ads is huge, but Google is a completely different proposition altogether. You're targeting people when they're looking for your services right now. The conversion rate is higher. On Facebook ads, what you're doing is prospecting and understanding who could be interested in your services. The reach is wider, the cost is cheaper for that reach, but the conversion rate of Facebook ads compared to Google is typically lower for specific kinds of industries. So take that into consideration. Use this time, 2021, use this time to start pushing smart bidding, testing and growing and scaling your campaigns, increasing your conversion rates, getting a volume of conversions through your account, because the time is ticking and they are going to do it. They're going to pull the switch and they're going to move everything over to full automation sooner than you think. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like below. Let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to automation or whether you're fearing automation. Let me know down below. I reply to pretty much every single comment I get on new videos. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, check out the other content across my channel, and I'll see you guys on my next video.